Hey there, Sharon Hornelson here. Welcome to day 222 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. Today we are talking about and continuing to work on the SOAP framework, upside down SOAP. The SOAP framework, of course, is our corrective action problem solving tool that we are installing in our subconscious. So anytime something, a challenge, a change, a setback, an obstacle comes up, we have an automatic process that we go through on a subconscious level that ensures we have the best possible outcome for us given that situation. So the S we talked about a couple of days ago, our story. What's our current story? What's our desired story for this improvement area? We're focusing on communication this month. So for me, it's communicating one-on-one super duper fast via text. Primarily via text because it has shown to be a pretty big challenge for me personally, given different areas and aspects of my life. So yesterday we brainstormed options, the O in the SOAP framework, and I came up with 10 different options and I selected 3 of those options. So today the A in the SOAP framework stands for action, taking action now. Because every time we make a decision, make a choice, choose something, we want to immediately take action on this. I'm going to give Tony Robbins credit for this in terms of impacting me personally on a long-term professional level. Worked with him as a coach back in the 80s, and one of the things that he still purports today is that as soon as you make a decision, take immediate action, right? So that you don't backpedal or let your subconscious talk you out of doing that thing or going for that goal, etc. So today we've got a little problem-solving tool that I like to use called the pros and cons. And it's also our idiom today for Supersize Your Business. We want to look at the pros and cons of a situation. What's positive about it? What's negative about it? My dad taught my sisters and I when we were little girls the decision-making tool of plus or minus, kind of like a plus or minus screwdriver. What are the positive aspects of the decision or the choice or the solution you're thinking of, or the action you're thinking about taking? What are the negatives about that? So I have a little chart here. Our options, and I'll run through my 3 options and just a couple of things I've thought about already. But what are the pros, what are the cons, and what are the for each of the different options? And then we're going to act today. We are going to use the pros and cons by thinking about them to pick an alternative, pick an option that we came up with yesterday. And today our action item is to take action on one of those. It isn't necessarily to implement the whole thing. It's to take the first step toward applying that option and taking action today. So for example, I already did my little pros and cons list in my notebook. I'm going to grab a magnifying glass. First one was to hire help. Well, what are the pros and the cons of hiring help? Meaning somebody helps me do my one-on-one communication, does my texting for me. Well, it's not super duper fast. It's not really convenient because I have to hire somebody and pay them to follow me around or convince them to do it for me, which if I'm not physically paying them money, I'm paying them in some other way, shape, or form. I have to compensate people for their time and energy and their help. What are some of the pros? It's fast, it's easy, the person's already capable of doing it, so they don't have to be trained or taught how to text, etc. They just have to understand my voice. Now, nowadays, I just thought about this as I'm talking about it, I can probably get an AI to help me do that, to correct my typos and stuff, but I don't know, because that is option number 2. Option number 2 is to investigate technological alternatives, basically figure it out. Figure out how am I going to do my texting, my one-on-one immediate communicating, and not have a bunch of typos that embarrass me. So the pro to that is it's fast, it's inexpensive, fast and cheap, and I have to do it anyway, right? And it's going to keep the level of personal integrity and authenticity for me in place more than hiring someone else to do it for me, right? Or having an AI do it for me. And finally, stop texting. Well, meaning I don't use that form of communication at all. That's free, it's immediate, that's a pro. Con, I have to find other ways of communicating that are probably more time consuming, maybe more expensive. I don't know if money even comes into it, but it's going to increase and my time to communicate, and it can cause even more misinformation and miscommunication than my bad texting. So those are just 3 things, 3 quick cons. I am probably going to do number 2. I'm telling you right now, I'm probably going to do number 2. I'm going to investigate technological alternatives. I know there's voice technology and things that I've just been resisting, and maybe I need to just use some of them. And maybe I can combine technologies and I can use voice, but I can have an AI to proofread and text things for me. I don't know if that's possible, but I'm going to find out. So that's my act now. So I'm going to circle that and say, yep, that's the one I'm doing. And so that's how I'm going to act today. Today I'm going to act on that by looking at what are the technological alternatives, because I'm pretty good at researching and it won't take me as much time as I like to complain that it will. So that is our SOAP framework and our action item for today. Analyze your alternatives using whatever tool you want, but if you don't have a tool, practice with the pro and con tool today and act now. Do one thing right now. It doesn't have to be, you know, I don't have to look at all the possible alternatives and select one today, but I have to start investigating what else is possible to help me solve my problem. All right, any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Have an awesome day and have fun with this. Solving problems is supposed to be fun. Bye.